Remember that you have a choice when you walk past me. You're choosing a high five, a handshake, or a fist bump.
Social and emotional learning used to be a separate binder on the shelf, and what we want to see is we want to see it integrated into the classroom experience, fostering a healthy, trusting environment, a pro-social culture, climate, and community in a classroom and a school campus.
And that means creating a culture where empathy, understanding, respect, trust, caring relationships are developed and fostered. Because ultimately, it is the school leader, the mentor, and the teachers that are creating this environment for their students to be able to thrive.
We're going to talk about today how our brains manage our feelings.
The social and emotional learning framework guides our support and development of teachers, mentors, and school leaders. Social and emotional learning, or SEL, involves 5 key competencies: self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, relationship skills, and responsible decision-making.
Her friend just pointed out that Tiana has been wearing her shirt backwards all day long. How would you feel if someone said your shirt was backwards all day long? Elias?
Sad.
Why would you feel sad?
Because when someone tells you something you don't like, so you feel sad.
So in today's lesson, I was looking for questioning, equitable voice, and building that classroom culture. What do you think the data will show us?
Well, I'm really hoping that all my students had a chance to give a response.
Okay, well, let's take a look. What do you notice?
I noticed that the majority of my students were able to show during that game that they were frustrated, angry, or sad.
Actually, the total physical response was something that you brought up at the very beginning of the year for knowing your students.
Self-awareness involves recognizing one's own feelings and needs, being able to know what are my values, judgments, and biases, and having awareness of both my strengths and my challenges. Self-awareness also involves practicing self-compassion.
We're all going to be writing in a community poem style. Now, this poem is going to be shared, okay, and no one's going to know who even wrote it.
I am from El Salvador, a small country where it's really different from the U.S. The music I am from is banda and Latin music due to my family's roots. My pain is from alcoholism and drugs that keeps me uncomfortable inside and out. I will overcome my obstacles.
These tools, communicating, empathy, listening, so many things that go into social and emotional learning. If you can't have those basic qualities, how are you going to build relationships? How are you going to keep a job? How are you going to get to college? It's so important to know these things.
I have plenty of pain. The pain comes from me. This type of pain is special, which has many emotions, like depression and anger, but I don't blow it.
Self-management is managing emotions and behavior to best meet your goals. That involves things like sustaining healthy boundaries and being able to manage stress. Also, knowing and advocating for one's own needs requires self-management.
Well, I really view the skills that we're giving kids are skills for life. And as adults, we got to keep learning them ourselves and practicing them.
So we're going to start with the community agreements.
Attentive listening. So when someone is speaking, we actually want to give them our undivided attention.
No put-downs. Don't make other people feel bad or yourself.
And state your needs. So if you need something, to not just keep it inside.
Mutual respect.
Primero, antes de empezar, ya comimos, hay que relajarnos un poquito. Quiero que nada más se paren rápido enfrente de su escritorio como lo hemos hecho. Relajados. Ahora a respirar hacia adentro.
Social awareness involves showing an understanding and empathy for others. It's an interpersonal skill that takes development and practice.
Did anyone else discover some common obstacles? Yeah.
I was talking about how they were sexist to Hillary. I remembered of how my mom, she like always tells me and my sisters to clean, but she like kind of never tells my brother.
So as Jasmine was discussing her study of Hillary Clinton and how she discovered that many times Hillary Clinton faced sexism, she started making connections with her own life.
The hope is that as they move through this project, that we continue discussing resilience and what connections they're making with these people themselves.
Violence.
How has that affected your life?
I worry because sometimes I worry of my dad because he works late. He goes on BART since people be getting jumped and have guns at night.
It's scary. Yeah. So violence is one of the obstacles that living in this neighborhood, a lot of times we worry about that or we have experienced it.
How the school values socio-emotional learning, it really has to come from not just how adults treat kids, but also how adults treat each other.
Let's open it up to just appreciations in general.
I'd like to appreciate Leo for all the work that he did last week and before winter break to organize the high school visits for all of our 8th graders. It was just an amazing experience to be a part of that, and I know it was a lot of work to make that happen.
Relationship skills involve forming positive relationships and effectively managing and working through conflict, being a good team member, whether it's within a class or at a staff meeting.
I wonder, how do you think those people, the girls who were going to get in the fight, how do you think they would feel about that, knowing that there were the rumors being spread and the notes being passed? Yami, what do you think?
If it was me, I wouldn't really care because it's like if it was true, then probably like it's like, oh, it's true, so I'm gonna get in a fight. But if it wasn't, I'll go to Jen and tell her that that rumor's not true, so it won't like get into a bigger conflict.
So I'm hearing you kind of saying not taking it personally, but going and either saying it's true or it's not true and trying to go to the source of the rumor.
To me, social and emotional learning is all about the way that students interact with themselves and with others.
Well, like my peers, they don't say, put down anything. They just work with each other, and like if they're upset about something, they go to Miss Lisa or Miss Byarda. They just talk about it, and once you tell an adult, you don't feel like that much upset no more, or like you feel like safe,
I think if you can rephrase a question, it sounds better. What do you think, Adlai?
I'm wondering what else could you do? This is a very challenging situation.
My mentor, Rita, and I talk about everything from having enough rigor in my lessons to balancing one student being tardy. We work on everything from academic to social and emotional.
Responsible decision-making has to do with understanding the impact of our choice on others, making ethical, constructive choices about personal and social behavior, considering the well-being of both ourselves and others before acting.
So Mario, you were sent to the office today from math class, and I know you're upset about it. What did you do when you were angry?
I started throwing stuff and screaming.
What happened when you started throwing things and screaming?
The teacher kicked me out.
I want you to know that feeling angry is a normal thing. It's what do we do when we're angry that's important. Do you have any ideas of what might help you calm down?
Breathe.
Breathing. Giving yourself some time to think.
Last week I asked you as you were going into the classrooms to do some observations and walkthroughs to kind of specifically be looking at the social emotional learning activities that are going on.
Third grade has been doing a really good job in helping their students when problems arise, walking them through the process of solving the problems.
I also noticed that second grade is using total physical response to target the vocabulary in the lessons.
We're seeing a reduction in the amount of students who are in our office for discipline problems.
And now I just feel like it's a much more of a campus initiative, a campus effort.
Social and emotional learning used to be a separate binder on the shelf, and what we want to see is it integrated into the classroom experience, fostering a healthy, trusting environment.
One of our community agreements is right to pass.
Can you explain that?
If you ask like a person a question about anybody's life, then they have the right to pass because it might be too personal and they might feel uncomfortable to share it.
When you're asking students to really dig deep to think about who they are and what they want from life and how they can really manage their emotions, really helps me tap into that too as a teacher.
To create successful schools, we need a pro-social culture, climate, and community to foster positive, safe, healthy learning environments for teachers, school leaders, students, and their families.
You have to consciously plan for how you're going to do that and set the expectations high, both for academics and how we're going to treat each other.
I always feel comfortable to share my experiences, and it's an opportunity that I have to be able to share out what I felt in the past so they won't be stuck in me anymore.
I'm reading about Harriet Tubman, and the obstacle I think was slavery. Well, I think it was slavery because being a slave was very hard, but to Harriet Tubman that didn't stop her.
And why is it important for us here in Circle to have equality, to value something like equality?
I think it's important because we should be able to trust each other, to tell each other like stuff that's happening to our own selves.